स्वागत। केही हैन चाहिँ म केही प्लेइङ 11 को पनि अपडेट दिन्छु है त। आजको टिममा नेपाली टिममा आज यी खेलाडीहरूले चाहिँ खेल्न सक्ने सम्भावना पनि देखिरहेको छु मैले। सायद आज कमल सिंह एडीलाई पनि टिममा राख्ने सम्भावना रहेको छ है त। कमल सिंह एडीलाई टिममा राख्ने सम्भावना र प्रतीश जीसीलाई पनि निरन्तरता दिने सम्भावना देखिराखेको छु। तर मैले यो प्रेडिक्ट प्लेइङ 11 चाहिँ मैले यसरी बनाएको छु। मेरो विचारमा चाहिँ कुशल भुर्तेल, आसिफ शेख, सन्दीप जोरा, देवेन्द्र, कुशल मल्ललाई दुईवटा म्याचमा खेल्न दिइएको छैन। आज कुशल मल्ल टिममा पर्ने सम्भावना र त्यस्तै गुलसन कुमार झा, करण केसी, सोमपाल कामी, अविनाश बोरा र ललित नारायण राजवंशी र क्याप्टेन रोहित कुमार पौडेल मैले आजको यो प्रेडिक्ट प्लेइङ 11 सम्भावित प्लेइङ 11 मा राखेको छु। र यसमा भने चाहिँ धेरै च्यान्ज हुने सम्भावना पनि देखिराखेको छु है त। मैले यो तपाईहरुलाई चाहिँ बनाएर राखिदिएको छु। तर यसमा आज कमल सिंह एडीलाई पनि विशेष ठाउँ दिइन्छ र ललितको ठाउँमा आज सागर ढकाललाई पनि टिममा राखिने अवस्था देखिराखेको छु। र आज सायद सोमपाल कामीलाई पनि बाहिर राखेर करण केसीलाई सायद इन हुन सक्छन् र या त्यसो भएन भने सोमपाल कामी, करण केसी पनि आउट र अविनाश बोरा, प्रतीश जीसी र कमल सिंह एडी त्यस्तै ललित नारायण राजवंशी पनि आउट भएर आज सागर ढकाललाई चाहिँ टिममा ठाउँ दिइने है सम्भावना रहेको छ। तर यो पनि एकदमै सम्भावना रहेको छ है त। मैले
that was shot and Bangzi was using his feet and he saw
From hating his 9 to 5, struggling at his 9 to 5, to starting an Instagram account about something he was
नेपालको 9-15 हो भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ होइन नेपालको 11-15 देखाइरहेछ 15 हो त नेपालको 9-15 होइन एकैछिन है त
competition. In fact, Larry Edwards comes into the
खेलाडी चाहिँ पाउने सम्भावना
Nepal, and you must be really happy.
Gongsu is right, fields no run. So a dot goes into the scorecard. So our commentary position. This time he's looking to drive aerial shot, clearing defense. It gone all the way. That's 6. Was pitched up, not timing it well, but it has good carry. Still clearing the boundary here by a few meters. So 6 to Anil. He moves on to 14, and the total now on to 25. 25 for 1. Still in over number 4. I guess a Yorker, he takes it out. They go through for 1. If it comes in once more. Knocked down there by Redhead. And they threw for a single again. Very suicidal single, but fortunately got away with it. So at the end of over number 4, the total 26 for 1. So at the moment they're going at 6.5 runs and over. Windwards would feel very happy with that. And let's see, there is a change in bowling at the southern end. So Hodge has been pulled out of the attack. And Descarte would pick it up from the southern end to bowl over number 5. So Bertil on 10. Anil, he's on 15. He's driving off the outside edge, just short of third man, who knocks it down. He gets a single. And luckily for him, that could have easily be carried into the hands of short third man, just around the 30-yard circle. So Anil getting a single there. He goes on to 16. The total now on to 27. 27 for 1 as Bertil comes back into strike. He's driving square, but there's a sweeper on the boundary and keeps it down to a single. Total now on to 28, but it goes on to 11. Anil, who is on 16, comes back into strike, so there's rotation of the strike here at Park Hill. And that was short, and he bangs. He was using his feet, and he saw it. I saw him advancing, dropped it short, but he got on top of it and hammered it between the backward point and extra cover, and he picked up a boundary. So he's taking the aggression. He's been the aggressor taking his total, his tally now onto 20, total onto 32. Just fanning at that outside, the off stump misses, taken cleanly by Douglas, standing back. He rehearses the shot. So it's 32 for 1 in over number 5. Shadrach Descarte. And there was Anil just holding up his hand, and Descarte had to abort his run. His drive in the air, this would clear the fence, it does, that's 6. Pitched up and deliberately lifting it over extra cover. Carrying all the way to the fence for 6. And the total goes on to 38. 38 for 1. Some 12 runs already in this over. With some 2 boundaries. 4 through backward point. Now 6 over extra cover. And again, he's off the outside edge. Down to a wide third man on the boundary. Keeps it down to a single. Total goes on to 39. So Anil goes on to 27. So he's taking the bulk of the deliveries and doing the scoring. Bertil playing the holding role. 27 to Anil, 11 to Bertil. And let's see who is going to pick it up from this the northern end. It appears as if it's going to be Larry Edwards. So Anil and Bertil forging a pretty decent partnership here between these two. Some 37 run partnership. With Anil doing the bulk of the scoring. He has 27. And he'll be on strike as Larry Edwards. From the northern end, he's going to bowl between umpire. It looks like he's going to come between umpire and the stumps. Just doing a little adjustments to his field. He's tipped on the pad. Again, half-hearted appeal. And they're looking to work it on the onside. And there is no run. And he sweeps and into the fence, 1 bounce for 4, and he moves on to 31. 31, the total now on to 43. 43 for 1. We are in over number 6, and immediately we see Captain Milius making some adjustments. And he lifts that high over extra cover. That's gone for 6. So again, Anil really being the aggressor. He hustles on to 37. And the total now on to 49. 49 for 1. We are in over number 6. So Larry Edwards being put under early pressure here by Anil. Looks around. And that was a Yorker-led delivery, well bowled. But Anil takes it out. And there is no run here. I think he was looking for an aggressive shot. That was right up, faster, flatter, and right up in the block hole. Sweeps again. And this would clear the fence now for 6. And up goes the hand of umpire Butler. So 6 more to Anil, who moves on to 43. The total now on to 55. And Anil decides he's going to take the attack to the bowlers. He's have Bortil, who is really a spectator at the other end, as Anil continues to take the attack to the bowler. So Edwards under pressure. Goes back and he works it down to a long on. They hustle for one. They're going to come back for the second. No. It's loud scream and well taken there. Not the best of throw, but there was Douglas climbing, plucking it out of the air. The total goes on to 56. So some 17 or so runs coming in that over. And Edwards first over, an expensive one. And immediately we see Descartes being pulled out of the attack. So at the end of over number 7, 56. 56 for 1. So going at 8 runs and over. And they would want to increase this run rate. And Asif Hooper is going to pick it up from the southern end. So Descartes, given that 1 over, being pulled out of the attack. And Asif Hooper, left arm orthodox, comes in. So it's going to be Anil, who is on 44, to take strike. So Bortel has been away from the strike for some time. Goes back, cuts to backward point, beats him, and that's 4. Short of a length, and he was on the back foot, cutting it past Melius at backward point into the fence for 4. He goes on to 48. Total now on to 60. 60 for 1. And we are in over number 8. Hooper between the umpire and the stumps umpire. Byam signaling dead ball. And as they push it out to short extra cover, they go through for a single. Misses. Looking for a second. No, says Bortel. And he goes on to 49. Total now on to 61. 61 for 1. So Bortil, who has been a spectator for some time, he comes into strike now. Just retaking his guard from umpire Byam. And he goes back, works it out to mid-wicket. He'll get a single. So he moves on to 12. And it's Anil, who is on 49, comes back into strike with a total 62 for 1. Goes back and looks, force it out to extra cover. No run. 62 for 1, the total remains. He's swinging that out too long on. Now comes off the boundary fields, keeps it down to a single. So it's 50 to Anil. So well played 50 as the total goes on to 63. And there is Bortel working it off his pads out to mid-wicket. Gets a single. The total now on to 64. He goes on to 13. But a well played 50 by Anil. So Descartes is going to shift to the northern end, and so over number 8 comes up. there was Anil, 25 balls for his 50, 4 fours and 4 sixes. So we're over number 8, just about to start. Descartes, just about marking out his run. Perhaps looking for just scratching at the surface there. So at the end of over number 7, it's 64 for 1. Bertil on strike. And he slaps that over extra cover. And sweeper comes off the boundary, keeps it down to a single. He goes on to 14. Total now on to 65 for 1. So very good partnership here between these two. Some 62 runs. And it is flashing at that outside yard, not taken cleanly by the keeper. And they scamper through for a bye. Let's wait. Yes, here comes the signal from umpire Butler. Total now on to 66 for 1 in over number 8. But it slashes at that over third man and he clears the rope. I think that would be 6. Umpire Butler now signals. So 6 to Bertil. It was outside Yorsum, gave him width, and he threw the bat of it. It peeled off the outside edge and flew over third man, clearing the fence. He goes on to 20, and the total now on to 72. 72 for 1. We are in over number 8. So the run rate increasing gradually. And he's whipping that out to mid-wicket. Who fields on the bounce. Edwards was covering grounds, couldn't get there. And Descartes not happy with the effort. But Larry Edwards not going risking himself. And just allowed it to drop in front of him and picked it up on the bounce. The total goes on to 73. And Bertil goes on to 21. So Anil, who is on 50, comes back into strike. And he's whipping that out to square leg. Out 6, a beautiful catch. Out on the square leg boundary. Diving in front of us right here. And Anil makes his way back. He was whipped off the pads in the air. Hodge judged it well, diving forward and claiming the catch. And he goes back for 50. And the breakthrough that Windward's wanted. It's now 73 for 2. And finally, they have broken that partnership. A very productive one for Nepal between Bertil and Anil. And Descartes now taking the catch, as you can see on the monitor. Yeah, where Hodge judged it well, dived forward and came up with the catch. So he goes back for 50 of some 26 deliveries, hitting some 4 fours and 3 and 4 sixes. And we can see now that's number 17. Rohit Podel, the captain, makes his way out. He has number 17 on the back of his shirt. Podel, the captain. So it's Descartes with some success under his belt. And a good delivery. His defense out to long on. Who they're hustling for one. They're coming back for the second. Lewis comes off the boundary. The return comes in, but they will get too easily, and they do. And at the end of over number 8, he goes on to 75. 75 for 2. As over number 8 comes to an end. So immediately Podel is off the mark. He's on 2. Bertil is on 21. And Hooper will continue from the southern end. Now gives his hat to to umpire Byam. I see they're having a word with his captain Melios. See Douglas just adjusting the field. So Bertel would be on strike. So 85 for 2 at the completion of over number 8. Sweeps very nicely out to square leg. Descarte comes off the boundary and fields, keeps it down to a single. The total goes on to 76. 76 for 2. And Podell comes in to strike. He's driving out to extra cover. They go through for 1. They'll get it easily. Good judgment of a single. Total goes on to 77. 77 for 2 in over number 9. Again, he sweeps it nicely. This could run away for 4. There's no man that fine leg. It goes across the ropes now. Well played there by Bertel. Just scooping it over the fine leg region and getting himself a boundary. He goes on to 26. And the total now on to 80. 81. 81 for 2. Win over number 9. Bertel is driving out to extra cover, wants a single. A shout of no as Rohit was backing up. And luckily for him, he gets back into his crease. Total remains 81. He's driving beautifully, square of the wicket, 4 runs. You can see it was pitched up and he opened the face of the bat, drove it between the extra cover fielder and the sweeper on the boundary. And he picks up 4. So it's now 85. 85 for 2. And with that boundary, Bertel goes on to 24. Kenny plays it out to short extra cover. They want a single. Larry Edwards was covering ground. Couldn't keep it, couldn't pick it up. Total goes on to 85. So at the end of over number 9, it's 85 for 2. 25 to Bertel. It's Rohit. In fact, it's Rohit on 9 and Bertel on 24. So it's Captain Rohit Padel who will take strike. That's it. You know, he's at the non-strikers end. So Bertel has been there from the inception. Started the innings. But he's still there. He's lifting that out too long off. This would drop inside the boundary and he goes across the ropes. And that's 4. That mid-off being up. Deliberate shot there by Bertel to a delivery that was pitched up. And he moves on to 28. The total now on to 92. He's trying to square the wicket. Long run for the man on the boundary. They will come back for 2. And tidied up there by the fielder. So 2 more to the total. And Bertel trying to being blocked by the tree. Not getting his individual scores yet as he's working it out to mid-wicket, who races off the boundary. Larry Edwards picks up, keeps it down to a single. And the total now on to 93. 93 for 2. As Bertel signals to the pavilion for some water. It's a pretty hot day. And Captain Rohit comes back into strike. and open the face to backward point. Melius is there, and there is no run. Right, looks rather busy. He's on 16. And his soft hands out to extra cover, and he gets a single. Total now on to 94. 94 for 2. In fact, right, he moves on to 18 and being blocked a bit by the scorer, but Bortil, who should be on 25, face the final delivery of the 10th over. He advances and lifts it out to mid-off. Long on, the jack is taken. He mistimed it. He was looking to go over mid-off, inside edge. And long on, coming off the boundary, Anthony Lewis took well-judged catch. Bertil goes back. And it's now 94 for 3. And disappointing end there for Bertil. But success for the Windwards. And the Windwards will be very happy. So it's Bertil now making his way back. Earlier we see Asif making his way back to the pavilion. Partnership being broken. So at the completion of over number 9, that should be over number 10, as Jora makes his way out. So Jora joins his captain. So it's going to be Ned. Good ball. He wants a single, but he has scampered back into his crease. So Ned, good start for him. And total remains on 94. We should be in over number 11. So Sandeep Jora joining his captain Red Padel. Again, there's Yorker and delivery. They go through for a single. Melius picking up that, able to release it, bubbles out of his hand, and they're through for a quick single. Total goes on to 95. So that single takes right to 18. Jora comes into strike, takes guard from umpire Byam. At that top edge, landing safely. There was Hodge covering grounds. They're coming back for a second, but in the end, they got that what looks rather dangerous in the end, getting it comfortably. It was not a good throw from Hodge, who was on the move, and the players batters scamper through for 2. So he's off the mark in Jora. He's on 2. Total now on to 97. 97 for 3 after 10.3 overs. Good delivery, taken on the pad, down to third man. And Bayam now signals leg byes. Total on to 98. It's 98 for 3. So Ned wants to make further inroads for the Windwards. And beautifully played, but well fielded by the Scarlet finally, but that was well played by Roy, the captain. Just swiveled and traveled very quickly, but Descartes was in the right position, picked it up on the bounce. Total remains on 98. So far, a pretty tidy over by Ned. Sure, he'll want to finish very strongly. Okay, gets a Yorker, and there was Roy just digging it out and getting a single out to mid wicket. And he goes on to 19. The total now on to 99. So at the end of over number 11 and 99 for 3. It's going at 9 runs and over. And we see Asif Hooper, change of end. Started out from the southern end. Now he's been shifted to the northern end. And Rohit Patel, captain of Nepal, he's on 19. Jora was recently joined him, he's on 2. And it's going to be Rohit Patel on strike. So has some players in the distance. There is a long on, a deep mid wicket, long off, a backward point on the fence. Sweeps by Rohit out to deep mid wicket. The Descartes comes off the boundary, keeps it down to a single. So 100 comes up for Nepal in 11.1 overs. And Rohit goes on to 20. Jora goes back, forces it out to extra cover. There is no run. Quicker delivery. He had to come down pretty quickly on that. Hustled him a bit there. Striving is all caught. You can hear it from here. Driving beautifully taken there by Douglas. And he went up immediately. That was pitched up outside the awesome. He was driving, getting an outside edge. Douglas took it gleefully. And there it is. The disappointment there by Jora as he makes his way back. So he goes back for 2. 100 for 4 here. Nepal batting first here at Park Hill as the players seize the opportunity to refresh themselves. So too the umpires. Pretty hot day here at Park Hill. Bright sunshine. It looks like Colbin makes his way out. To join Captain Padel. So this time a left-hander comes out to do battle. So it's less, so now we have a left-hand right-hand combination. And Hooper playing in front of his home crowd. This is his home village. Picking up that scalp in his second spell. And he'll bowl over the wicket to the left-handed Gulshan. Gulshan goes back and plays it out to backward point, and there was Captain Melius moving smartly to his right. Picks up, keeps it down to no run. And he's forward defensive. He works it out to short mid wicket. Hooper moving smartly to his right. Again keeping it down to no run. So tight over here by Asif Hooper, and a successful one indeed as well. I think just one run coming off the over so far. And he goes back, works it out to square leg. They go through for one. They will settle for that as the total goes on to 101 for 4 at the completion of over number 12. And a good over by Asif Hooper. 2 runs coming in that over, and a wicket as well. And we can see Melius now having a word with Hooper. Perhaps Ned will continue. So there's Gulshan Cheha, who is on 1. He will take strike. And it's going to be Ned. To continue. So Gaishan having taken guard. He's on 1, looks around the field. As Ned skips in. He's taking on the body. They scamper through for 1. And in the end, good running there by Captain Padel, just shadowing it, just allowing Ned to go past him. And that was taken on the pad. They scamper through for a leg by. And total now on to 102. 102 for 4. So Ned can now bowl to Captain Rohit Padel. Just down the track, drive square. Hodge, nice piece of work by Hodge, keeps it down to a single. And they're going through for a second. The return comes in, he's out, run out. Not smart cricket there on the part of Gaishan. Looking to steal a single. And just lobbed it to Douglas. And he was run out by some distance. But he lobbed it to Ned the bowler. And he was run out by some distance. So 102 now for 5, 103 for 5 rather. And certainly the win was pulling things back here after a pretty good start by Nepal. And some rebuilding would have to be done on the part of Nepal. This is over number 13, 102 for 5. And let's see who joins his captain. Airy joins his captain. And so Airy in the first game really seeing his team through. Coming in at number 7, played a very good innings indeed. And saw his team home. And seems to favor the ball coming onto the bat. And there's down the leg side. As Padel looking to whip that down the leg side, misses. Wide signal by umpire Bayam, and the total now on to 104. 104 for 5. Over number 13 in progress. In lovely sunshine here at the Parkhill playing field, and not a lot of breeze. He's driving square down to third man. Otney Lewis is there, picks up. Keeps it down to a single. He goes on to 22, and Airy, who is on who is yet to get off the mark, comes into strike. Now he's looking to take guard from umpire Bayam, who's just looking to the pavilion. Now he has given the right away for Airy, who now marks his crease. 105 for 5. As he's driving out to extra cover, beats extra cover, but mid off. Tidies up, keeps it down to a single. The total goes on to 106. 106 for 5. As Captain Padel comes back into strike, so Airy off the mark. Padel on 22. He flashes at that outside the horse stump and wide signal by umpire Bayam. Total now on to 107. 107 for 5 in over number 13. So can you get a bit of encouragement being given to Ned. And he's looking to run that down to third man. Luckily for him, he didn't get a touch. Douglas takes it cleanly. There was Captain Royd looking to run that down to third man, and he misses, and Douglas taking it standing some 15 or so meters back. There is no run. So Ned has been rather tidy in this his spell, and he works it out to mid-wicket. Mid-wicket comes off the boundary. Just a single. Total now on to 108. 108 at the end of over number 13. 108 for 5. Good tidy over by Ned, and really keeping the pressure on. As we see Melius having a word with Hooper. Ball being tossed to Hooper, and what would think, I think this is the final over for Asif Hooper. Going to see over number 17. Over number 14 to be bowled by Asif Hooper. And Captain Padel, who is on 23, Rohit Padel, will take strike. So Hooper decides to bowl between umpire and the stumps, and he's having a word with Douglas, the keeper, and perhaps Douglas would have observed something, just running down and having a word with the bowler. Again, he's playing it neatly down to fine leg, and they go through for a single. And Redhead was there, keeps it down to 1, so he goes on to 24 for Dell, as Airy comes back into strike. 109. 109 for 5. And he goes back, tucks it down to short fine leg. Again, he scampers for a single. Redhead moving smartly to his left fields. Hodge was covering ground, so he's right backing up. And the total now goes to 110. 110 for 5. We are in over number 14. He's sweeping at that, missing, and taken cleanly by Douglas, who removes the bails. But no damage done. So there was a captain essaying a sweep. In, goes back, tucks it out to mid-wicket. They have scores for 1. Hooper is there. Keeps it down to a single. And total now on to 111. Nelson, very superstitious number for the English. And 24, 25 to Captain Rohit Padel. Airy, who's on 3. Guides this out to the sweeper coming off the square cover boundary and keeps it down to a single, so 112. So no boundaries being scored in recent times, and so the win was really pulling things back. 112 for 5. This time he's sweeping out to square leg, and Hodge moving smartly wrong, feels the return comes in, and just a single. So the total now on to 113. Very good over indeed, and a good spell by Asif Hooper, and being congratulated there by keeper Dylan Douglas. So at the end of over number 14, it's 113 for 5, and Ned will continue from the southern end. He will bowl number 15. So it's 5 to Airy, 26 to his captain, Red Padel. And so it's Nepal having first strike, having won the toss and decided to bat. So Nepal in some pre-practice matches before the World Cup here in the Caribbean. T20 World Cup slated for the 1st to the 29th of June. Some 20 teams will be featured in that competition. In fact, Larry Edwards comes into the attack, and that was played very smartly out to short extra cover, and they scamper through for a single. So Captain Padel rotating the strike. He goes on to 27. And Airy, who is on 5, comes into strike. He cuts and beats backward point. Hodge has some running to do. He can't get there. He goes across the ropes now for 4. And after some time now, a boundary. And the total now on to 118. 118 for 5 in over number 15. Sammy plays it out square. Melias covering grounds, not picking up cleanly, and they threw for 1. Airy with that single, he goes into double figures. And the total goes on to 119. 119. And that single, Airy, should be on 10. And it's forward defensively that is lobbed to a short mid-wicket. Had there been a forward short leg, that would have been an easy catch. But in this T20, not afforded that luxury. So Larry Edwards will continue. It's a swinging that out too long on the bounce. A single. And the total now on to 120. 120 for 5. And Captain Padel goes on to 27. I'll wait on the scorer. Airy looking to run that down to third man. Misses, taken cleanly by the keeper, who removes the bails, but the back foot was well grounded. And over number 15 comes to an end. So 28 to Padel, 8-2. Looking at the scoreboard on the far side, 10 to Airy. And it's what? 26 to Captain Padel. So Descartes would pick it up from the northern end. Has some 2 wickets to his credit. So 2 out of the 5. Padel as Airy comes back into strike. 109. 109 for 5. And he goes back, tucks it down to short fine leg. Again, he scampers through for a single. Redhead moving smartly to his left heels. Hodge was covering ground to his right, backing up. And the total now goes to 110. 110 for 5. We are in over number 14. Sweeping at that, missing and taken cleanly by Douglas, who removes the bails. But no damage done. So there was the captain essaying a sweep. And goes back, tucks it out to mid-wicket. They have Scoster for 1. Hooper is there. Keeps it down to a single. And total now on to 111. Nelson, very superstitious number for the English. And 24-25 to captain Rohit Padel. Airy, who's on 3. Guides this out to the sweeper coming off the square cover boundary. And keeps it down to a single, so 112. So no boundaries being scored in recent times. And so the win was really pulling things back. 112 for 5. This time he's sweeping out to square leg. And Hodge moving smartly wrong. Feels the return comes in. And just a single. So the total now on to 113. Very good over indeed. And a good spell by Asif Hooper. And being congratulated there by keeper Dylan Douglas. So at the end of over number 14, it's 113 for 5. And Ned will continue from the southern end. He will bowl number 15. So it's 5 to Airy. 26 to his captain, Rohit Padel. And so it's Nepal having first strike, having won the toss and decided to bat. So Nepal in some pre-practice matches before the World Cup here in the Caribbean. T20 World Cup slated for the 1st to the 29th of June. Some 20 teams will be featured in that competition. In fact, Larry Edwards comes into the attack, and that was played very smartly out to short extra cover, and they scamper through for a single. So Captain Padel rotating the strike. He goes on to 27. And Airy, who is on 5, comes into strike. He cuts and beats backward point. Hodge has some running to do. He can't get there. He goes across the ropes now for 4. And after some time now, a boundary. And the total now on to 118. 118 for 5 in over number 15. Sammy plays it out square. Melias covering grounds, not picking up cleanly, and they threw for 1. Airy with that single, he goes into double figures. And the total goes on to 119. 119. And that single, Airy, should be on 10. And it's forward defensively. That is lobbed to a short mid-wicket. Had there been a forward short leg, that would have been an easy catch. But in this T20, not afforded that luxury. So Larry Edwards will continue. He's swinging that out too long on the bounce. A single. And the total now on to 120. 120 for 5. And Captain Padel goes on to 27. I'll wait on the scorer. Airy looking to run that Down to third man, misses, taken cleanly by the keeper who removes the bails, but the back foot was well grounded. And over number 15 comes to an end. So 28 to Padel, 8 to. Looking at the scoreboard on the far side, 10 to Airy. And it's what? 26 to Captain Padel. So Descarte would pick it up from the northern end. Has some 2 wickets to his credit. So 2 out of the 5 wickets that have fallen. And to Descarte, who is going to pick it up. Bowling his right arm medium stuff from the northern end. So it's Captain Rohit Padel. And he works it out to mid-wicket. Lotney Lewis covering grounds, feels well. Keeps it down to a single. Return comes in. And overthrow there, and they're scampering through. No, I think they were looking for a second, but eventually they were scampering back to their respective creases. In fact, they got 2 runs. And so 2-2 Rohit, who now moves to 28. 122. He's whipping, looking to whip that down the leg side. Misses, wide signal by umpire Butler. And the total now on to 123. So 1, 2, 3 for 5. We're in over number 16. Descarte just losing his line there. And that went down the leg side. Captain Padel must have been disappointed missing that. They can work that out to backward point. They go through for 1. That's all they will be. As the total goes on to 124. 124 for 5. So rotation of the strike. Eric comes back into strike. Sporting number 45 on the back of his shirt. Shadrach Descarte, St. Lucian. In the Windward Island Volcanoes, get a good delivery take on there. There was an appeal there by Descarte, good delivery. Maybe an inside edge into the pad. He wanted a single, but he was not there. Descarte was closing in very quickly. And we recognizing the danger. Has very quickly returned to his crease. So 124 for 5. 31 to Captain Rohit. And 10 to Airy. And he's driving that out to wide extra cover. Covers grounds, feels well. Beautiful piece of work on the boundary. And they come back for the second. Total now on to 126. So good piece of work by Longoff on the boundary. 126 for 5. It's working it out to mid-wicket. That would beat Hodge at 4. Hodge looking to cover some grounds, but that was sweetly timed. And into defense it goes for 4. 130 now for 5. And 130 for 5. We are in over number 16. Airy, who is on 14 according to our scorer, in. I guess a good delivery. Once a single, it's not there. So good finish there by Descarte. 130 for 5 at the end of over number 16. So some 4 overs remaining. And it would be pretty interesting to see how Melius use his bowlers in these fading overs. We can see Larry Edwards to continue. he will bowl over number 17. I think there's Kabem Hodge, who still has 2 overs in the bank. There's his Otney Lewis, the off spinner, who has not yet bowled a delivery, so not likely, but he's still Redhead, who also has 2 overs, so he has options. But it's going to be Captain Rohit Patel to take strike. Larry Edwards is going to be his final over. So Captain would want to push on from here, as Edwards would be between the umpire and the stumps. And he scoops that over fine leg. Long run here for Redhead, who pulls it back inside the boundary. They come back for the second. Once a third, it's not there. And that was Captain there scooping that over short fine leg and getting himself 2. He goes on to 33. The total now to 132 for 5. We're in over number 17. He swing top edge, that would clear the fence. It does. That's over mid wicket for 6. Sweep shot, and they went high over mid wicket for 6. Total now on to 138. And Captain Padel goes on to 39. 138 for 6. 39 to Padel. 14 to Airy. So there would have to be a replay. Well, the ball has been returned. See, third umpire, Cameron Green, making his way out with a box of ball, but that ball has been returned. Umpire Butler was just on the fence there, just checking. So Edwards now picks it up. Throws it out to Butler. In fact, it appears as if there's still a ball to be retrieved. Umpire Butler is there. So too is Descarte. So play has been held up momentarily. Umpire Byam really inspecting the ball. He's satisfied with the condition. Now tosses it to Larry Edwards. So play will resume after a short break. 39 to Padel, 14 to Airy. So a good partnership building here between these two. And Larry Edwards will continue. Padel looking to take the aggression to the bowler. Looking to take that attack. Again, he's looking to scoop that take near the chest. There's Douglas. And he gets a single. He goes on to 40. Douglas standing up. Reaction time there. Very, very limited. And so he goes on to 40. So Larry Edwards, he will now bowl to Airy. He's driving, beats extra cover and down to defense for 4. It was short, it was wide, it gave him the room, the width to free his arms, and he banged it past Asif Hooper at short extra cover and down to the boundary for 4. The total now on to 143. 143 for 5. And he's slapping that over long on for 6. A good over here for Nepal. Already there are 2 6s in the over, a 4. Already I think some 18 or 19 runs some scored off the over. 149 for 5 over number 17. I think there's a final delivery for Larry Edwards in his spell. Previous game had 3 for 20 off his spell. And he's driving. Asif Hooper covering grounds, knocks it down at extra cover. They're coming back for the second, and they will get it easily. And so good aggressive running on the part of Nepal. And they overcome Swanen. It's now 151. 151 for 5 at the end of over number 17. And let's see who's going to pick it up from the northern end. Looks like Ned. So it's going to be Ned to pick it up from the northern end. He's there with his captain Melios, trying to decide on his field. And it's going to be the captain, Fidel, to take strike. He's on 40. 26 to Airy. So Darren Ned, right arm, fast medium. He's slapping that pass backward point. This would go across the ropes. It does. Well played there by Captain Padel. The total goes on to 155. He moves on to 44. And he inspects his bat immediately when that was struck. But he's picked up the boundary of the very first delivery. So putting pressure on the bowler very early in the over. So he had some width outside the off stump. Ned would want to correct that. And again he opens up and guides it down to third man. They go through for 1. They will come back for the second and they will get that comfortably. And total now on to 157. Padel goes on to 46. Seem to favor that offside. He opens up and open the face of the bat and running it down to wide third man. So 157 for 5. And he's driving again out between the backward point and the wide third man. They come back for the second. The return comes in. Another good one. And 2 more to the captain. He goes on to 48. 159. Looking to be a very aggressive. The running in between the wickets has been very, very good indeed. So 48 to Padel. Areas on 26. 159 for 5. We are in over number 18. So 2 overs remaining. He's looking to scoop that over third man. Misses, taken cleanly by Douglas standing back. And there is no run. So a precious dot goes into the scorebook. 159 for 5. Kenny opens up. Good piece of work on the third man boundary and keeps it down to a single. Larry Edwards on the third man boundary, diving effort. And you can hear the shouts of congratulations. 160 now for 5. So with one delivery remaining in this, the 18th over, as Airy comes in to strike. He bowled him! Off stump, cartwheeling out of the ground. Yorker length delivery, Airy FC in a big drive. Misses, and the off stump went walking. Success that the win was needed at this stage. Breaking that partnership, Airy makes his way back for a good supporting innings here to his captain. And Nepal now 160 for 6. 160 for 6. Captain Padel is still there. And Sampal Kami making his way out to join his captain, going in at number 8. So Sampal joining his captain. His captain is on 49. Sampal will not have strike. And it's going to be Redhead with the penultimate over. And he will be bowling to Captain Rohit Padel, who surveys the field. Let's see, there is a man on the fine leg boundary. Third man inside the 30-yard circle, backward point. Extra cover, sweeper. And he's driving down to third man. Anthony Lewis getting his big frame behind it. Keeps it down to a single, so 52 Padel. And he will give you the stats in a minute. As Sampal will take his first delivery. So here comes Redhead. Yorker length takes it out, not able to stop it in his follow through, and they scamper through for 1. And the total goes on to 162. So good delivery there by Redhead, right up in the block hole. And Sampal had to dig it out. So 162 for 6. He's looking to swing. That beats the keeper down to the boundary. That's 4 wides. I would think, yes, the wide come signal here by umpire Bayam. So 5 runs added to the total, 167. So there is Padel 50 coming in of 35 deliveries, 4 fours and 1 6 in his half century. So Redhead wants to tighten up. 167 167 for 6. And he's driving out too long off it over the fence. 1-2 bounces across the ropes for 4. And so Padel continues to push on. He moves on to 54. The total now on to 171. 171 for 6. So Sampal, the non-striker, he's on 1. 54 to Padel, who is on strike. And he's driving out to mid-off. Catch taken. And there was Ned at mid-off. He was driving straight into the hands of Ned, who takes the catch. 171 for 7. Diving catch there by Ned. And success on the part of Windwards. He makes his way back and out in the middle. So 2 new batters at the crease. So Padel having had a pretty good knock for so Practice makes his way out to join Sampal. So Practice takes guard, looks around the field. 171 for 7. Success for Redhead. And that is slapped over the top. That would clear the fence. It does. That's 6. It was back of a length and he stood up and he slapped it over long off. And clearing the fence for 6. And the total now on to 177. 177 for 7. Lots of 7s. And I think there is a 1 delivery remaining in this, the penultimate over. Over number 19. And he's swinging at that top edge. Lewis is circling underneath it. Takes the catch. And so success for Redhead of his final delivery. Having been smacked for 6 the previous delivery. He came back, picked up the wicket off his final delivery of his spell, and it's now 177 for 8. 177 for 8 here at the Park Hill playing field. So Nepal just losing their way a bit, and 1 over remaining. We wait to see who will bowl that final over. It looks like Ned, and as I am now joined by Anthony Denny, who had other duties to perform. So welcome to Park Hill playing field and welcome to the final over of the Nepal's innings.
Thank you very much, Charlo, and good day to all who are in tune to this broadcast. Of course, you're following us on Facebook on VC3 Channel 114 and also on our YouTube page. 177 for 8. The Nepalese team batting first here. And when I was following the game, there was an onslaught early on.
Definitely there was. But the Windwards have pulled things back as Bohara comes out to join Sampal. So Sampal will be on strike. He's facing up to Ned, who is bowling this final over. His last over. Sent the stumps flying. Ned in. Got a Yorker length delivery. I know. Sample is coming down hard on it. And Ned knocking it down. And there is no run. So a precious dot at this stage goes into the scorebook, Eddie. So 5 legal deliveries remaining.
Without a doubt. And Ned on for somewhat of a shortened run, but he's really generating some pace.
And he's taking on the pad onto a short fine leg. So 2 dots go into the scorebook. And Nepal 177 for 8. So Ned, he has had a good spell and kept things tight and really want to finish very strongly here. And he's swinging that out to mid wicket who comes off the boundary, Descarte, and not a good throw indeed, and giving away that extra run. So the total goes on to 179 for 8. Was a high return, and there was Douglas looking to pluck it out of the air, and it bubbles through his hands, and the batters scamper through for a second. So 179 for 8 with some 3 legal deliveries remaining. Swinging and missing, and good over so far by Ned. Some 3 dots in the over, just 2 runs, and he would want to perhaps take out a wicket or ensure that there are no boundaries in the final 2 deliveries.
Well, thus far, a very good last over here from Ned as he continues.
He's driving and missing again outside the off stump, throwing the kitchen sink at it, as we would say, missing, and another dot goes into the scorebook. So a very, very good over indeed by Darren Ned for the final over. 179 for 8. 1 legal delivery remaining. And Ned, can we see a dot ball? We'd wait to see. Sampal taking on the pad, and they scamper through for a single. So let's see any signal from umpire Butler. There are no signals, so inside edge into the pad. 180 for 8 of 20, and I think the Windwards really pulled things back very nicely, Eddie, getting among the wickets and really putting pressure on Nepal to the back end of the innings.
Yes, and the bowling attack, must be commended here today. Parker, as you know, very picturesque field indeed, but it's a very small outfield, and 179, a target of 189 runs per over. As we would have seen in the very first game last Tuesday, is gettable here at Park Hill, and we must commend the efforts of the Windward Islands bowling outfit. Ned, of course, leading his team off, and the likes of Descarte and not forgetting Larry Ellis and company. They must be commended.
Yeah, they definitely have to be commended. I think they kept things very tight. There was one occasion where the Nepal had the bowling under some pressure. But from the moment they got that wicket, they continued to put some pressure on Nepal, pull things back. Nepal finishing at 180 for 9. And I think the winner was really, they would have strengthened their spin attack. But we note that Anthony Lewis did not even bowl. So, but the spinners came in, they held things tightly, held their own, and Nepal seemed to favor the faster stuff.
Without a doubt, they like the ball coming onto the bat, and we saw that, of course, in the first game with the likes of Irie and Sampal and Bertel, who unfortunately didn't replicate the innings for the Nepalese as they would have liked for him to do so today. But they demonstrated in uncertain terms that they like that.
The sweet sounds of steel pans spread across streets, accompanied by
vibrancy and magic.
Explore. First game 196. Melius.
The two openers are making their way into the middle. Captain Melius, along with, I'll get that you in a bit. So yes, Chad, I was just saying the two teams are out into the middle. Windward Island Volcanoes now preparing to respond to the 179, chasing a target of 180. And I believe it's Captain Melius out there. We try to get the player who has stat number 45 on his shirt for the Windward Islands. But meantime, Nepal, they're in the middle. And looks as if it's going to be Bohara to get things going from the southern end here at the back of the playing field. So Milius and Ogis.
Milius and Ogis.
Right.
Akim Ogis.
The two of us for the Windward Islands Volcanoes as Bohara. That number 10 shirt just picking up that white ball and making sure that his mark is fully in place. And will soon break into his stride. So bold is the first delivery of the Windward Islands response, chasing a target of 180. And doesn't seem as if he's quite ready. There's just one or two little adjustments being made. Captain Fadel is close by, not on screen, but pretty much close by in a mid-off position.
It looked like some pal who is going to pick it up from this other end.
So race is in. This one is played down to that shot. More or less in a gully position almost, and run off the bat. So the Windward Islands yet to get off the mark. So there you see Nepal 179 for 9, and the Volcanoes chasing a target of 180. This delivery, Wellness walks it off his pads and player in that short middle position slipped in the process and giving away 2 runs and some scrappy work in the field by Nepal.
Very scrappy work very early in the innings, and easy what should have been an easy single. He gave away that extra run. So Melius is off the mark. That would do his confidence a world of good, and no batter likes to be a knot. And he would have to lead from the front for the Windward Island Volcanoes, try to get up to 180.
So back to the top of his run, and now turns. Race is in. And this one outside the off stump and cracked down to that third man position, but the third man well in place, well in behind it. And
Ogis comes in to strike for the very first time. So there's a left-hand, right-hand combination here for Windward Island Volcanoes, and this could be a little problematic sometimes for some bowlers, because you do have to change your line to the left and right hand combination, and if you're not really on top of your game, you can find yourself under some pressure.
so Ogis settles. And ball that is worked into the onside. And again you see that misfield. Captain Fadel this time around. And that is something that the Nepalese team will certainly need to work on, and work on very quickly if they would want to restrict the Windward Islands from achieving that target.
I think that single was a bit risky. Had he picked it up cleanly, I think Ogis could have found himself in some trouble. But in the end, he got in very safely, because not seeing the Nepalese picking up the ball. I think they're creating the Cardinals enough, taking their eye off the ball at the last minute.
This one, Meles plays it neatly off his pass to that deep square leg position. And just one more added to the total. Hydro coming in, but the wicketkeeper looking quite athletic, blocking it out of there, goalkeeper style. And just one more added. It's 5 now for the loss of no wicket in this. The first over being bowled by Sampal. With a ball game is on a target of 180. And of course, Captain Rohit Patel leading from the front for the Nepalese. Sampal, what should be the final delivery of this first over down the leg side, and this is a wide. And they take a run in the process, so that's 2 more added to the total. And the delivery certainly has to be rebowled. Wide now being signaled there. So 7 without loss. And Sampal, fairly good first over, keeping the batsmen in check apart from that wide delivery just a while ago. And this time we'll be bowling to Melius. Outside the off stump and driven square. Good piece of work there by, looks like Irie. And no run taken. That's the end of the first over. 7 from the first, and fairly good start there from Nepal.
Yeah, I think a pretty good start indeed, but Melius would just have to just look to place the ball a little better. I think he was looking to hit it too hard, and in the end hitting it straight to a fielders rather than just delaying the shot a bit and looking for the gap. Had opportunities to do a bit of scoring, but that's how it is.
Well, it was outside the off stump and it sat up, got back to ball, but as you said, really and truly should have looked to gone between that point and the gully field, or even a little bit more to the right of the point there. And no run resulting. But we're going to have the second over of this 20 as a nice breeze continued to flow into our commentary position. And picking up the attack, looks like, is it Prakash? Comes in now to bowl to Agis, and one that he works into the onside, mid on in position, not a problem.
Ogis have been timing the ball well. He's been striking it very well, but hitting it thus far straight to the fielder.
And that's the wind doing a bit there with the bail. Batsman immediately realizing it, had to pull out. So practice it is from the hills here at Park Hill. Races past umpire Butler. This wasn't driven. Again, well driven, but finding the fielder in that short, well, mid-off position.
Well, again, we see the fielder not picking it up. It was hit very firmly indeed, and Ogis was still looking for that single. And again, it was Captain Padel, the guilty offender.
Well, again, it's an area that's Nepal as they prepare for World Cup 2024, T20 World Cup, that they'll need to certainly work on. In this game, 1 run can determine the difference between winning and losing. And if you give them away in the field, they certainly will pay in the end. As there's Captain Melius, as Matis now comes in. And down the leg side, that should have taken something because there's no signal there from the umpire.
Maybe brushing the pad on its way through.
So
the keeper standing up, and good take down the leg side. Remove the bail, but the batter foot was grounded.
well, we've seen three deliveries thus far in this over, just 1 run. And Melius and Ogis will probably want to get things going. Outside the off stump.
Beautifully
Nice
played,
throwing
man.
off drive. Square the wicket. Oh, lovely runs into the backward point fence, Charlo.
That was sweet. The sound of the bat, the placement, just about everything about that shot was perfect. And Melius really showing his class.
So, boundary there to the Windward Islands Volcanoes skipper, Kemanu Melius, quite a young cricketer. And it's good to see him being given the opportunity to lead at this level as a practice. So, coming once again. And down the leg side,
He's
out.
out.
Loud appeal.
Umpire says not out, but I was looking at that back leg. I was very close to the line. Let's see. It's on the leg side. Good. So I think he might have been lucky there, just had a little bit behind that line. And umpire Afran by in perfect position. He said not out. And Melius lives to fight on. Again, that's into the pads. And a single. Airy coming through, not picking up. Again, that single. A leg by signal by umpire Butler. The over comes to an end. So he's after 2 overs, 12 without loss. And Melius might have find himself a bit lucky.
Very much so, Charlo. But at 12 after the first 2, just 6 runs per over. Sort of a mild start, if you can put it like that, from the 2 openers here from the Windward Islands Volcanoes. And they will certainly want to get the pace on. You don't want to have a situation later on down where you have a required run rate of 12 and 13 and 14 plus. Yes, of course, we know that there's some big hitters to come for the Windward Islands Volcanoes, but that start is so very much important in terms of immediately putting the opposition on that back foot.
Definitely, and these two would want to do that. Both St. Lucians, they should know each other well, and we'd really want to put a good start on the cards for the Windwards so that the others can build on.
Sampal this time to bowl to Melius, and he's back in defense, just pushing it back up along the pitch. And no run resulting. It's 13 for no loss in this over number 3. So the ICC trophy, of course, here in St. Vincent and Grenadines arrived yesterday at the Argyle International Airport. Today was on the windward side of the island.
Well, in fact, prior to the start of the game, they had passed through for viewing and so they were on the field for a while.
Work through the mid-wicket here, and it's going to get close to that fence. Let's see if either can pick it up. No, he can't. So that's 4 well-taken runs there by Melius. Well-timed.
Yeah, I think you do get value for your shots here at Park Hill. That was sweetly timed, and it raced over the outfield. 2 fielders trying to converge, but it went between both of them and across the ropes and into the fence for 4. That's the second boundary for Melius. So he would want to continue the good works for the Windward Islands.
So Sampal back to the top of his mark. And some 12 runs off his overs just survived. This one, and there was Melius looking to come down, but this one was dug in even shorter and it jumped at him, giving him absolutely no chance. And good work there by Sampal.
Yeah, good thinking on the part of Sampal. Saw him moving and he banged it in a bit short. Good bounce, good carry, and Melius had to watch it go by and taken cleanly by the keeper standing back. So good carry for the keeper. Surface had been very, very true. And the bounce, the pace, and certainly is the sort of surface that you can play through the line. And once he's up in the slot, Melius, I'm sure, will go with it.
This one is down the leg side and will be signaled wide. It is signaled wide. And 1 more to the total, 18 now for no loss in this, the 3rd over. I believe 2.3 deliveries thus far. And Sampal
losing his radar
a
bit.
On talking about losing the radar, we lost a bit of the sunshine, but certainly that has not affected conditions here at Park Hill, as Sampal with that number 10 on his back outside the off stump and taking the pace off of that one, Sampal. And Melius was somewhat seemed to be caught in two minds there. He eventually just poked at it and pushed it calmly into the offside.
Well, he certainly was deceived by a well-bowled slow delivery there by Sampal. And Melius looked to tap it into the offside on the bounce to the keeper, who didn't collect it cleanly, but there's still no run.
So here comes Sampal. Outside the off stump and driven square. That's 4 well taken runs, but I believe Irie felt he should have done a little bit better there.
He definitely should have done better. Yeah, he would be disappointed. So too with Sampal. I think he was looking at the bounce, didn't get the body behind it, and it went past him and into the fence.
So 4 more runs to the total, 22 without loss. And we are just about 1 more delivery remaining in this, the 3rd over. As right arm over the wicket. And again, oh, that was well placed. Down to 3rd man there from Melius, showing his class.
Definitely, I think that's the shot of the morning. He waited on it and he placed it. Rather than looking for power, he looked for placement. And it was really a gem.
So 26 after the first 3 overs, going at 8 runs per over. And these two at the wicket, especially Captain Melius, who's on 20, they're now stepping up the scoring rate here for the Windward Islands as they chase the target of 180.
I recall Melius at the under-19 level at Cumberland and played a blistering innings of 100. I think it was against Jamaica. He really took the bowlers to all parts of the ground. And you saw that talent in the young man. And here he is at the Windward's level, regional level, and really now proving his worth.
Well, we're going to be having some spin from the northern end, and replacing Pratis will be Rajbansi. Hope my pronunciation is correct. So we'll be coming into Boto Ogis, and so left arm over the wicket. So left arm off spinner comes in out of Boto Ogis, and was beaten outside the off stump and had his foot grounded, but the wicketkeeper didn't take it, so any possible stumping went through the window as far as that is concerned. So August looking quite tentative there, and Lalit Rajbasi comes in now. This one he tucks nicely off the hip onto that short fine leg position and gets off to another run. 3 now to his total, and 27 the score for the Windward Islands in the 4th over.
So there's rotation of the strike, the right hand, left hand combination, and Lalit will have to now bowl to the right hander. Let's see how what sort of line he will have. Previous delivery to the left hander was on the body. That would be a good delivery for the right hander.
So Captain Melius settles on weight, and this one he hikes high. That's going to go all the way over long off. That's 6 runs, and well taken shot there by Melius. He was to the pitch a bit very quickly indeed, and went through with the shot. Long off Jalo.
Well, he's showing his class, he's showing his intent, and that was tossed up and he lifted it over long off, who had some interest in it, but in the end just watched it sailed over his head and over the ropes for 6.
So Melius is on to 26 as Lalit comes in. This time he just pushes it into the offside very quietly. Fielder comes around, picks up. Total remains on 33 without loss. The Windward Islands Volcanoes. It's been a measured start, but of course Melius has been aggressive at times. And wrapped on the bag pad going back there, and not out says umpire, loud appeal.
Seems to be going down the leg. Butler, experienced umpire,
Former West Indies
player,
yes,
left arm fast medium bowler.
Lalit. This time punches into that point position. Fielders there to cover. That's the end of over number 4, and at the end of it, it is 33 without loss. The Windward Islands going at just over 8 runs per over, and in this the early overs, not a bad
Not a bad start, and I think that in this over, Lalit, who had been struck for 6, but I think he came back very good in the end. Really tightened it up and not giving Melios that opportunity to lift him over the top. Most of the deliveries after that had to be played off the back foot.
Yes. So let's see how things are going to continue. We had Sampal who started, but spin now being introduced from this the southern end. So Captain Rohit Badal looking to slow things down. Looks like it's
like Airy. Yes.
Napindra Singh Airy coming out of Old Ogis, and Ogis gets one wide outside the off stump. That's very wide indeed. And Airy not off to the kind of start that Captain Padel would like to see. Tucks away at his sleeves, and now coming to the bowl once again. And that was short outside the off stump wide, and August should have really and truly done better with that one.
Well, he hit it straight to backward point.
So 34 without loss, and this is the 4th over. After deliveries already bowled in this one, as Irie comes into Ogis, and Ogis, well, that was uppishly, and again we see the not good feeling there from the Nepalese fielder.
Certainly, I think this is an area that they'll have to work on going into the World Cup. They will have to do quite a bit of work in terms of their fielding, because we have seen so many lapses already, and you cannot afford to do that when you're playing against international teams.
They will hurt you, and hurt you badly as far as that is concerned. Nepal would have taken the number 2 spot coming out of Asia. This one is swung high, over, long on, into the bushes. As a matter of fact, it strikes the concrete structure
and
just above the ground.
Rebounded into the bushes, and it was very hard indeed. But I was going to make the point, very interestingly, because Airy has not tried to bowl this slow it up, or flight the ball. He has pushed every delivery through, and they are actually playing him as a medium pacer, which makes life much easier for the batters.
So true. Much more easier, Charlo. 41 without loss in this, the 5th over. And Marius settles Airy. Had a good innings in the first game, scored 50 plus. That would have carried the Nepalese team home, but this one is now driven into the offside. And playing that short extra cover position, comes around, picked up. Total remains on 41 without loss. Outside the off stump, and it was full pitched there from Airy.
I think Melius was looking at the umpire, hoping that it would be a wide.
Comes in once again. This one cracked, and 1-2 bounces into the long off area, and that's 4 well taken runs there from Melius.
So Melius continued to show his intent, and he's been striking the ball very well indeed. Airy not flighting the delivery, pushing them through, and Melius likes it as it comes onto the bat very nicely, and he's capitalizing on every opportunity he gets.
So after 5 overs, 45 for no wicket, and 9 runs exactly for over the run rate for the Windward Islands Volcanoes, and very good start indeed from this opening pair. Captain Commander Melius, he's on 36 not out, and just 4 from the bat of August. Of course, the bunch of the strike being taken up by Melius.
Well, definitely, and we see Lalit has been pulled out of the attack, and it looked like Pattis, who comes back into the attack. He had 1 over, So he's coming back into the attack, and it's to the Ogis, who is really a spectator, who was a spectator now to take in strike.
Some strike. Here comes Practice down to Ogis, and this one wraps him on the pad. He was looking to pull it somewhere over backward square leg, but didn't get it back onto ball.
I don't think it was short enough for that kind of a shot. It would have been advisable to tuck it on the onside and pick up the ones. But he was looking to go over square leg and really missed it, taking on the body.
Well, it's one of the dangers being a spectator at the other end. Sometimes you do get a little raggedy, and we saw that there from Ogis. Let's see what happens this time around. Gets back onto the ball as he hoiks this one over long on. And it's got to get pretty close to the boundary. Picked up there now. They take two in the process as the throw comes in. And two more to the bat of Ogis. He's now on to 6. The Volcanoes, they're 47 without loss in this, the 6th over. So, nice little decent crowd here at Park Hill, and on Saturday we expect a huge turnout as Practice comes in now. And that one was almost a baseball type shot, and
he gone all the way.
All the way.
So the 50 comes up.
53 without loss.
At 5.3 overs.
Good going by on the part of the Windward Island Volcanoes. And that one was hit with some sort of despair. Just walked into it and slapped it.
There it is.
There you go.
Slapped it over long off.
So 53 without loss as Rohit just having a brief word there with Practice, Captain Rohit Padel, and Practice will now come in now to Ogis. And this one he drives straight to mid-off. Padel
Songed off the bat.
Yes, and it's good to see Padel sticking the ball without any bubble.
Yeah, straight to the mid-off fielder, but that was it. Struck very firmly.
Yeah, lovely drive indeed there off the bat of Ogis. But unfortunately, could only find the fielder at mid-off, and Captain Rohit Padel.
I think 2 or 3 meters to the left or right, that would have gone to the fence.
Certainly. There's Practice. And this one he pulls over mid-wicket. That is going to go out of the ground. It is into the banana field below. 6 well-taken runs.
But that was disdainfully hit. He just picked it up as if he was taking
Food from
candy
a baby.
from a baby and just dispatched it over mid-wicket.
So Ogis now getting into the run feast here. Of course, Captain Melius on 36, and there you see that pull way over mid-wicket. And 6 more runs to the total here for the Windward Islands, 59 without loss.
Perhaps he's saying to his captain, you can do it, I can do it better. And really, that was a disdainful shot.
Without a doubt. So, just 1 ball remaining in this, the 6th over. And they're over 10 runs for over at this point in time. The Windward Islands Volcanoes, as we await the return of the ball. Both batsmen there on the screen are looking into the area, that mid-wicket area, where the ball went over. I've yet to see any thing being done by the reserve umpire. So
well, I think umpire Byam is down at the boundary edge looking over the wall. I'm not too sure. Perhaps there are some youngsters on that side who to retrieve the ball, and he's looking because we have not seen the third umpire as yet.
So
going out with any replacement. But certainly what we have seen so far from the 2 games, it is that the faster bowlers seem to get hit about rather easily because the bounce is true. The ball comes on very nicely.
certainly.
And batters are comfortable playing through the line.
Well,
So I think the ball has been returned.
yes, it is. And there's the umpire making his way back into the middle. In the background, one of those lovely little houses here at Park Hill. A nice community indeed, and a sporting community.
Very much so.
Close to South Rivers, another community that loves their cricket. Produced former West Indies fast bowler Cameron Coffey.
Definitely. Quite a few players coming out from the South Rivers. Butler, who played for the West Indies as well. South Rivers chap. Lyndon James, who played for the Windwards. We have seen him at Stanford,
Yes.
South Rivers as well. So there are a few names that you can look around and can speak of.
Well, Obis is about to resume his innings as the ball has been returned, and here comes practice now. And this one off the edge, it will look like a bit of edge onto that one, down to that short third man position. That's the end of the sixth over. At the end of it, 59 for no loss. The Windward Islands are chasing 180 for victory, just under 10 runs per over.
Just under 10 runs and over, and I think a pretty good start by the Windwards, putting the pressure, early pressure on Nepal, and they would have to do some work. We see Melius just signaling to the pavilion. Perhaps he's going to done away with his helmet, and it's going to be Lalit who is going to pick it up from the southern end. So it's going to be spin, and Melius he's comfortably decides I'm going to done with the helmet, and I'm going to see how I can take charge. He's on 36, Ogis on 18, and really a good opening partnership. 50 coming in 5.3 overs.
Well, it was a little slow for the openers, especially in the first 2 overs, but since that third over, they've really taken to the attack of Nepal, and hence, of course, scoring at just about 10 runs over in the first 6. So, Lalit being switched from the northern to the southern end as the breeze blows across the outfield, and this one spoons off the face of the bat. Not immediately the pitch of it, but nonetheless fell into a harmless zone there for Melius. He got a single in the process, rather.
Definitely a good delivery. Spinning across him is the left arm spinner, getting that one to go across the right hander. I think he was looking to tuck it on the onside, got a leading edge.
So Lalit it is to continue. This time to Ogis. Tries. And this one is gonna beat the fielder. The bounce would have undid him there. And that's 4 more runs.
Definitely, he was stepped hard. It bounced in front of the fielder. Short, diminutive guy. Bounce, he was jumping for all his worth. It went over his hands, across the ropes and into the fence for 4. So Ogis continue to enjoy taking the attack to Nepal.
So here's Lalit once again. And this time he tries down to long enough. And the fielder is on the fence there. 1 more to the total.
65 without loss. We're in over number 7.
So pressure definitely on the Nepalese team at this point in time. They'll want to see the back of one of these very, very soon. And there's Melius just gently tapping it into the onside. Now, Lalit seemed to be giving Melius a bit of a worry. Still was not to the pitch of that run shallow.
Well, he was content to just defend.
So let's see how he responds to this one. Again, pushing out and into that short mid-wicket position. The fielder comes off the fence, and there's 1 more added to the total. Now 67 for no loss. With the Island Volcanoes in pursuit of 180.
66.
66 without loss. There's Lalit. And this one, in the end, good work there by Irie on the deep mid-wicket boundary. And getting that return in, just 1 more added to the total. Now on to 67.
So at the end of over number 7, 67, 80, 38 to Melius, 23, 24 to Ogis. And a very good start indeed by the Windward Islands.
Yes, the dressing room at this point in time for the Volcanoes should be pretty comfortable. The batters are to come. The likes of Cabin Hodge and company, certainly they will be feeling pretty, as I said, comfortable in the dressing room and under no immediate pressure at this point in time. But I believe these two will want to continue and get as close as possible to the 100 to make life even more easier for the batters to come.
Well, definitely. And there's a change in bowling at the far end, the northern end. It's going to be Gulshan,
Looks like Gulshan, yes.
who is going to pick it up from the northern end, but he'll bowl to the left-handed Ogis, Akeem Ogis.
So Gulshan, right arm, medium fast. To Ogis, then Ogis just guides this one down to that short third man position and immediately off for the single. One more to the total, now 68 for no loss. Windward Island Volcanoes in this, the 8th over. And Gulshan, there's him on screen. Tall, lanky figure indeed. Inspects the ball and will now turn. The number 15 bearing down on his back, races in now. This time to Melnus, drives. A lovely shot indeed. It looked easy, but it was a well taken drive there by Melnus.
It was just, he caressed it through the covers and long off had a run, but you do get value for your shots, and it raced across the outfield, and in the end he just watched it go across the ropes. So 42 now to Melius, really a good captain innings here and putting his team into a very good position.
Without a doubt, it's 72 without loss in this, the 8th over. And just caressed that one, but it seemed to just picked up speed as it made its way to the boundary. Gulshan. And this one goes square, they're off for a quick single. And I believe Ogis would have been in.
Yeah, I think he would have been there comfortably. And so good judgment of the single there. He was backing up very quickly. And the total goes down to 73. So good cricket on the part of Windward Island Volcanoes.
So the scoring rate is, I believe, exactly 10 runs are over there about. And Gulshan make his way back to the top of his mark. Ogis hikes this one high. Is he going to beat the fielder? No, he doesn't. And a good take and catch there, keeping his eye on the rope. So there goes Ogis, gone for 25, looking to clear the long off fence, but didn't have enough on it. And slapping the pads as he make his way back, because he knew that there was an opportunity for him to probably press on and make even more for the Windward Islands today.
Well, definitely, I think he just stroked it rather than really putting some power behind it. You saw that on the replay, just stroked it and it went right a long way. And good judgment on the part of the fielder and taking that just in front of the ropes. And you can see him there just stabling himself as he looks down at the ropes. But so good judgment on the part of the fielder, and Ogis has to make his way back.
Am I seeing his foot on the rope there?
It's a bit difficult for us from this side to see, but I'll do the boundary check.
Really close there, but Ogis is already back in the pavilion. There's no DSR here at Park Hill. We're just showing that for the benefit of our viewers. And your batsman is out.
Stephen Pascal.
Stefan Pascal. So 73 for the loss of one in this, the 8th over. But indeed a good start here for the Windward Islands. There's Pascal to take his first knock. And beaten outside the off stump. He just pushed at it. Didn't really truly move his feet there. Just pushed the bat to ball. And went through to wicketkeeper. Total remains on 73 for 1.
So a good partnership being broken there by Gulshan, as Ogis just stroked it and was caught on the long off boundary. He went for 25, and Pascal getting his first knock.
Yes, first knock for these games thus far. And this one, looking to guide it between the wicketkeeper and that gully fielder. They didn't get anything onto it. That's the end of over number 9, and at the end of it, it's 73 for 1. Windward Islands chasing 180. They are
It's really the end of over number 8.
number 8. So
Just about 9 runs and over.
well, that's the required rate to take you up to 180. So they're going at a good clip, the Volcanoes, as Lalit will continue from the southern end. As Captain Melius, he's not out on 43. No doubt will want to get to that 50 and then press on for the Windward Island Volcanoes to ensure that they take victory in this the second game. Lalit and Melius pulls one bounce down to long on and takes a single in the process. Total goes on now to 74. Of course, in the first game, when Nepal looked more or less dead and buried, the likes of Irie and Sampal plucked victory out of the air.
Definitely, and they took the faster bowlers to the cleaners.
Lalit. And this one bounced a bit at the batsman. And Pascal new to the wicket. Caught in a bit of a problem there, but in the end,
I think he's yet to get bat on ball.
there comes Lalit. This one is through the offside. Fielder comes off that extra cover boundary. And finally off the mark is Stefan Pascal. Grenadian player. Known more for his pace rather than handling the bat. So I'm a little surprised that he's in at number 3, but maybe just being given that opportunity. As Lalit comes in now to Melius. And Melius, this one off the edge is going to probably get into the boundary. He's looking to pull this one somewhere over mid-wicket. But it took the outside edge, and luckily for him, it didn't spoon or anything like that, or went to any fielder. And raced down to the third man fence.
Flew down to third man and into the fence for 4. He goes on to 48. The total now on to 79. But I think he was lucky there.
Yeah, without a doubt, yes. Well, sometimes you need a bit of luck.
Yes, Lady Luck has followed him.
So, Lalit, as I said, seemed to be creating a bit of a problem and there you see the return ball striking Pascal. But Lalit comes in now, and this time he's to the pitch of it and works it into the onside. Feeling to his own bowling there is Lalit. And Melius settles. Delivery that he rocks back and just forces into the offside. And for a moment I thought he was going to go a little bit more to the left of Irie, but only found Irie in that cover position. That's the end of over number 9, and at the end of it is 79 for 1.
79 for 1. So a good over indeed, I would say, on the part of Lalit, pulling things back a bit. And these two will have to just pace themselves as we look at a number of school children making their way into the pavilion.
And it's very good for the youngsters to come and see cricket at this level. Nepal international team, of course, they're into their second World Cup here in the Caribbean, and there you see even some of the young lasses being here at Park Hill. Charging down the wicket, there's Pascal. He gets one, and the fielders onto it. They're looking for the second, but that is not going to be. And total goes on now to 80. 80 for 1. And over number 10. And there we see some of the students. I believe they're from the Park Hill Government School.
Just around there, a few yards, 100 yards away from here.
That's Gulshan. Motos in. And this time wrapping the pad here of Melius. And there was no appeal that was outside the off stump, so no threat to Melius. Just missed the ball completely.
I think it was a little bit too casual there in terms of the way he approached that, and he has to be very mindful. As the captain, you'd want to see your team home.
Well, he's on 48, too short of that half century. As here comes Gulshan. And that's a loud appeal, but I believe the height there might have certainly helped Melius, but a good delivery from Gulshan.
It continues to create a bit of a problem for the batters, and they threw for a leg by.
Interesting to have a look at this replay. That's for the run out. There's absolutely no problem there, but I believe Melius was saved by the height that time around.
Yes, because he was going back, and I think it was above the knee roll, and I think Umpire Butler just indicating there the height.
Yes. So Pascal will now take strike. Charges down the wicket and straight into the arms of the fielder there at that whitish long on position, and Nepal came in the second wicket.
A good catch indeed. It was hit very firmly indeed, but straight to the fielder who judged it well. He charged the bowler. He hit it very firmly indeed. And there is the fielder just taking that catch in front of the ropes. Again, very close to the ropes, but I think from our vantage point, I was looking at it, I think he was quite safe.
Quite safe. And we saw that in the replay there as he tosses the ball back. So, Windward Islands losing their second wicket. That of Stefan Pascal. Not normally a top order batter. And I was, asking the question as to why you're bringing Pascal at this point in time. But the dressing room will certainly have the rationale. He's gone nonetheless, and it's 81 for the loss of 2 in this the 10th over. So Melius is still there. Kimani Melius. So Kevin Hodge, the new batter, batting at number 4 for the Windward Island Volcanoes. Gulshan in, and this one well played there by Hodge.
I'm looking at the structure. It certainly does not look like having Hodge. Okay, Kabem Hodge was the batter who got out, and Pascal is now at the crease. So he's off the mark on 1, and well played here by Melius. He gets a single, he goes on to 49, and the total now on to 83. But Kabem Hodge was the batter who got out.
Yeah.
I was looking at the number and it says Kabem Hodge, and Pascal is now making his way out. He's on 1.
So information being rectified with our scorers. So it's actually Stefan Pascal who's in the middle, and Kabem Hodge, who didn't really look the part.
Definitely, I think when one looks at him from the very first game to this one, really seems not to have really been middling it, and in the end perished at a deep mid-wicket position.
So 83 for the loss of 2. The Windward Island Volcanoes, after some 10 overs, halfway mark, 180 required. And there's a bowling change at the southern end. It looks as if it's going to be Bertel.
Yes, Bertel is going to pick it up.
This time he'll be bowling to Melius, who's on 49. Melius gets that. Melius as he raises his bats. And certainly getting a good applause from this appreciative crowd here at Park Hill. Windward Islands now on to 84 for the loss of 2 wickets in this the 11th over. And now Stefan Pascal is going to take strike. So here comes Bertel to Pascal. Pascal drives it into the offside. Can only find Irie, who's marshalling in that cover region. So that is true.
So Melius 50 coming off 36 deliveries, 7 fours and 2 sixes.
Good going there by the Windward Island Volcanoes captain. 50 off 36. As this one is well fielded there by Bertel. And he's rubbing that left knee of his, would have been struck in the knee. And even more so as he dove to his left, you can see the remains of the dust from the pitch on his clothing.
Well, he's dusting himself off. Well, it was a very good stop on the part of Bertel there.
Well done. Comes in now, and at this time worked off the pad. He comes in on mid wicket, and one more, total now on to 85 for the loss of 2. So it's important that these two in Melius, as we look at this replay once again, there's Bertel coming off with a good save, and I think he would have probably struck his knee into the pitch. That's primarily what happened a while ago. He's much better now, comes in out to bowl to Melius, and Melius hits this one high.
Someone is circling
on the long outfielder. He does take the catch. So there goes the prize scalp of Melius just after completing his 50. Looking to go over long off. Didn't make it this time. Catch taken. Windward Islands 85 for 3.
Well, the top edge, and I was just going to make the point that Nepal just pulling things back a bit, because the Windward Island Volcano
And of course, the final of this of these practice games will take place on Saturday. New York and Florida, both Lauderdale, for Texas. That's pretty interesting.
very much so. Had the opportunity of passing through Texas once.